Your court television news starting now.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to I guess you could call special broadcast, special edition of the NJ Courts TV news station. I am your host, NJ Courts. We're not doing anything too formal this evening, so don't mind the not so formal attire on me. As a matter of fact, I wanted to come on this evening just to kind of give you guys a little brief I guess you could say, kind of summary of what I have planned for tomorrow's live broadcast, and to kind of, I guess, add on to and as well as correct some information that we went over yesterday. As a matter of fact, I think it was right. Did I see you guys yesterday? Yeah, Tuesday. Sorry, this week's just gone already so quick. I can't believe tomorrow's already gonna be Thursday. So, I got some, like I said, some additional details that I'm going to go over. We did already start discussing this case, so most of you saw in the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about tonight the most recent arrest that's now gone into the beginning of a court trial, or excuse me, has now gone into the federal justice system as far as a case. In regards or against a very high-ranking member, also known as probably the co-founder, and now was the current leader of the Sinoloa Mexican cartel. This individual, known as El Mayo, otherwise known as their government name, Ismael Zambada, kind of took over the place of El Chapo Guzman, which many of you are probably familiar, and he's mostly more known as the kind of the head boss and the I guess you could say the founder of the Sinaloa cartel. So that's mainly the name that you see when you see people talking about that, or who's affiliated usually as the main cartel boss. But in reality, because El Chapo is in prison, and I want to make my first correction, I had said he was in prison in New York. He's now currently in a Supermax prison in Colorado. He was in prison in New York while he was going through his court trial process. But now that he's been sentenced to a life sentence, he is spending that now in a Supermax in Colorado. So just to make that correction, El Chapo is not in New York. He's actually held in Colorado. So, El Mayo, I'm probably going to say El Mayo instead of his government name, Ismael Zambada. It's just easier for me to remember. He kind of, I guess, is now going to be going through this court process, which has already started. It started last Friday when his lawyer and him entered his plea of not guilty. He is facing, I've seen anywhere between 7 charges, which a lot of the news stations have said, and I've actually seen all 7 charges. I'm going to show you pretty much the indictment list. One news station was saying it was 11. I think it's more closer to 9. I think there's 7 charges, but one of the charges, there's 2 counts. So either way, let's just say between 7 to 10 charges this individual's facing. Very serious charges. Most likely is probably going to be facing some type of life sentence like his partner, El Chapo. But there's a lot of just kind of backstory that's now coming into play regarding this whole arrest. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to start kind of going back, kind of from the day that this guy got arrested, which not only was he arrested, he was arrested along with one of El Chapo's sons, who is also one of the high-ranking leaders in the Sinaloa cartel. I guess they have 2 factions, is what I've read. The Mayo's kind of the head of one faction, and the El Chapo and his sons, not El Chapo, but his sons, the ones that aren't in jail, are kind of the head of the other faction, which in this case, just not too long ago, was this Joaquin Guzman, which is El Chapo's son, who was just leading, or one of the leaders in the Sinaloa cartel, but has now been arrested in part of this whole kind of incident that took place last Thursday. And there's a lot even being said about whether he got some type of deal or is trying to, brought this guy over, whether it was, like he said, which we're going to go over the original story, or kind of like what a lot of the officials from the U.S. government sites kind of finding out, which the news reports were already coming out with kind of what the real story, or the story that the lawyer for this El Mayo was putting out, which was pretty much he was forced onto this plane that flew from Mexico into Santa Teresa, New Mexico, which is just about 30 minutes from my location, instead of the original story, which was, he was tricked. They told him, he was going to fly to check out some properties in northern Mexico. And, while they're just sitting there whining and dining, they landed in Santa Teresa, New Mexico, in the USA side. And then he was surprised, a bunch of U.S. Marshals jump on and arrest him. I think it's going to be more the side that he was kidnapped and brought over, which has a lot to say whether, is that going to have anything to do whether or not they're going to be able to, go forth with the trial. Based on what I've read, that has more to do with a diplomatic side. Pretty much as long as he's on the USA territory, they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? How he got there is based pretty much what I read. So it sounds most likely like they're going to go through with the indictment. But I think that's something obviously his defense or lawyer is going to be fighting for, is probably, whether this was a diplomatic, issue. And if that's the case, how does that work? I was reading something. I guess there hasn't been really any instances or cases in the past that have been similar to something like this. So there's really not anything that even these federal judges can even go off of, as far as an example, which a lot of times that's what they do, when there's kind of these questionable indictments. So I guess we'll have to just see as it goes. But either way, there's already been the first arraignment, which was on Friday, the day after they were both arrested. Now, El Mayo, he's currently being held somewhere in either Texas or New Mexico. They're not saying what federal prison. He might not even be in a federal prison. Whatever. He's being held somewhere, obviously near the Texas-New Mexico border. But he did have a hearing today, which originally I was going to show up to, but luckily I read, I guess this last Friday, his lawyer had put in pretty much a motion to waive his appearance. And so they did have the hearing today, but El Mayo didn't have to be there. He does have an in-person. He has to be there tomorrow for what they're calling let's see here. I think this is going to be, excuse me, got a lot of notes here. So let's see here. He's waived his right to be present on for Wednesday. He will be required to appear in person at a status conference hearing on Thursday, August the 1st, before U.S. District Judge Kathleen Cardone, who will oversee the rest of the case. So the original judge that he saw for the arraignment where he pled not guilty, that was a different judge. They have assigned a now second judge that's going to be the judge that's going to oversee the rest of the case. I don't know why they did that or for whatever reason. But we'll go pretty much what I want to share with you guys. So anyways, going back to where I'm getting on, let me just finish my story. Then I'm going to jump into chat. Sorry, I kind of just got into it without even saying hi. My fault. I was being rude. But pretty much what we're going to do is going to watch maybe a couple of clips from some of the news agencies that have, been in discussion or covering this case. Also, I'm going to share the indictments with you so we can see more or less what the charges are that El Mayo is facing. The other thing I was going to say is in regards to El Chapo's son, the other guy that was arrested, he was flown to Chicago where he was I think it was today. He actually was, it was either yesterday or today. I'm pretty sure it was today. And we'll double check. He was in front of a judge in Chicago for some other charges or federal charges he's facing there. Another thing to note is they were showing, I guess there's another of El Chapo's sons that is currently in U.S. custody. That is Octavio Guzman. For some reason on, I guess, the whatever website that at the facility he was being housed was stating that he was released. He has not been, just in case you've also read that information, I have verified that he's not been, he still is in U.S. custody. Let's just put it that way. He may not be in that jail or prison anymore. Not jail, prison. or facility. But he is still in U.S. custody. A lot of rumors were going on that maybe he's been released and he's already in Mexico. Yada yada. No, like some like underground deal went down and that's why they released him. I don't know what's really going on with that guy. That's another story. But he's still in U.S. custody. There's just a lot of just details starting to come out from the original story, and I'm sure as we go along with these hearings, we're going to find out more. But welcome to everybody in the chat. Let me jump over to chat really quick. For all I know, I might even be muted and you guys didn't even hear a single thing I just said because that's happened before. All right, let's start up at the top really quick. What up, ICU? Good to see you in chat. What up, Pamino Week? What up, Juan Scasa? What up, Sicilian Princess? What up, Jack Mahaff? What up, Kimberly71? What up, Boston Tad? Even said it with the SH in there. What up, Bretalian Richard Ramirez or Triple R? What up, Serga? What up, Justin T? What up, Keith? What up, John Hoagland? What up, Johnny Donuts? One. Nutty Paz, good to see you. What up, Cesar? What up, Miss Renee? Or Renee, I apologize if I said that wrong. All right. Well, I'm glad to see that we have some interest in this case. I know it's a little bit outside of the usual parameters that this channel usually covers. Generally, we're covering a lot of these Z-list YouTube streamers that get in trouble. But I think it's going to be a good change up for the channel. I know we had a lot of people that have been asking about, maybe starting some coverage on some of these more high-level cases. And, although I'm not a big fan because there's already a lot of coverage out there of these cases, I think something like this is interesting just for the fact that I can bring you some type of live coverage just for the fact that I'm, very close to where this hearing is going to be at, which is going to be in El Paso, Texas tomorrow. It's going to be at the federal courthouse down there. Let me give you the name of it. It is the Albert Almendarez Senior Federal Courthouse. That is scheduled. I think it's an afternoon hearing. I believe it's at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So what I was planning on doing was getting to El Paso in the morning, like way earlier than the time, obviously the time that it's going to kick off at. Because one, it's downtown, so you got to find parking. But two, I thought it'd be kind of, cool and fun to do like a little IRL stream of the downtown area, which is right next to the border of Juarez. So we can literally walk right over next to pretty much as far as I can go into the border without crossing the actual border. And then, when it gets closer to the hearing time, I don't think they're going to let the public inside just because of the nature of the case. Who knows if they will? I'll go inside. If for some reason I can, try to get some type of media pass while I'm there and actually record while I'm in there, I'll try. But at the very least, I hope to at least bring you guys kind of like a bird's eye view of kind of the media madness that I think is going to be happening tomorrow with all the different, national and world news outlets that most likely are going to be there tomorrow, because he has to be there in person. Okay. Unlike today's hearing, where he was able to waive his appearance, he has to be there tomorrow in person, which means they got to transport him from whatever prison, jail, wherever the fuck he's at, some fucking FBI stash house. Just kidding. It's not like the movies. They'll have to transport him from there, which I'm sure is going to be pretty a logistical nightmare. I'm sure they're going to have some type of security caravan, and obviously they want to keep it kind of low key. So who knows? But either way, I'm hoping to be there as he arrives. Usually they have, especially in those federal courthouses, they've got an area where they, come in through the back and nobody can access. It's not like these, little kind of smaller courthouses that you're used to me going to, so most likely, or maybe not, maybe we will be able to catch him actually coming in. But either way, I think it'll be fun and a different kind of coverage to bring you kind of how, what it looks like with other media outlets being there, and me being a court news coverage reporter and bringing you some coverage from more of a high level case. So what up, tie-dye? Oh, definitely. Well, here's the thing, Cesar, and we're going to watch some clips, and I think they get into it a bit, but there's where a lot of the rumors are coming into play. Of course, the government from both sides is, well, the Mexican government's claiming they have no idea about this whole thing and how it happened. And it sounds like they're kind of pissed, and rightfully so, because I'm sure they're going to be afraid. that these guys are going to start snitching on all these government officials, and hence why this guy probably has not been in jail, okay, while he was in Mexico. It's a very corrupt country, okay? So I'm sure that that country is probably not in favor, as weird as it sounds, that and the fact that we have now not only, well, and here's another reason, now that they've cut the spearhead, essentially took out two leaders. Don't forget they had took out El Chapo, prior to these two guys. That's going to open up now a fight for the leadership of this cartel, or maybe other cartels now trying to take advantage of the fact that this cartel doesn't have any leadership. So on the Mexican side, they're not too happy, for one, the fact that these guys can start snitching on public officials, but two, it also might lead to some violence that's going to erupt. I hope it doesn't, but based on previous events, most likely it will. Now on the U.S. side, obviously they're claiming that this was done, I guess, through a small channel, through the FBI of some agents. Nothing, I guess, again, they're not going to most likely tell us the whole exact story, but pretty much they're making it sound like it was just a small little avenue that was, keeping in touch between, this El Chapo's son, Joaquin, or is it Joaquin? Yeah. He has almost the same name as El Chapo. I think that he's the junior. But so we don't mix it up. I'll call his dad El Chapo and then the son Joaquin. But they're saying that the feds, believe it or not, have been in touch with this guy for quite a time, and that they had been working with him to try to lure this El Mayo, into the United States, which we're going to find out in one of the clips that we're going to play, I guess, has been one of his biggest fears, was something like this happening. And that's why, like, when I had heard the original story that they tricked him, I figured it probably wasn't going to be that easy. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of the land looks the same and you might be chilling in a plane, but I'm sure a guy like that's probably already got some type of GPS or, figures that could happen. So most likely the story now has changed, that he was probably kidnapped by El Chapo's son and, was brought by force over to the United States, which, fuck it, I don't care. He's a piece of shit, in my opinion. As long as he hit the U.S. soil, indict him, arrest him, and lock him up. But where I was going with this is there's a lot of these rumors and stories saying that this might be a possibility that this went down because El Chapo's son Joaquin is trying to, one, himself get out of getting in as much trouble because he's facing indictments, but also this other son, Octavian, or I think it starts with Octavian, I think it's Octavio Octavian, who is still in custody. They're wondering if this was done to possibly, get him a better deal and get him out. So who knows? I guess, like I said, as this goes, we'll find out. But we're going to play a clip right now. I'm going to shut up. It's about a 7-minute clip. I watched it already. It does a pretty decent job of covering 4 days ago of what the case was kind of sounding like. Again, there has been some changes made already, like the story changed. And that's already been confirmed by a lot of government officials that more likely that's how it went down, was that he was kidnapped and brought over. Hey, Darlene, thank you so much. Darlene Valenzuela with a $5 super sticker. Hold on, Darlene. Let me get on my phone here. Ooh, and I got a surprise tomorrow, because tomorrow is August 1st. So I get to give away some memberships. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow's stream because of that. And obviously, this should be pretty fun and exciting for me. I haven't done, this will be my first coverage as far as like a high-level case. And I mean, as far as even high-level cases, this is probably in the nation currently one of the highest level cases going on. So I imagine there's going to be a shit ton of media down there. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you guys. I don't see why we shouldn't have any good coverage. We're going to be downtown, so the data should be, excellent. It is El Paso, Texas, pretty big city down in Texas. If you're not familiar with El Paso is, it's pretty much the border city to Juarez, and it's right next to New Mexico. It's on the far west tip of Texas, kind of the top, how Texas is. It's like, never mind. I had to have a map to show you. It's just going to confuse you. All right, hold on, Darlene. I'm going. I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. All right, here I go. I got the chat right here. Oh, let me shut me up. Hey, I see it. It's got the fox saying good job. Thank you so much. I appreciate that super sticker. And thank you for all your continued support, my friend. All right. Tie-dye Gammy, I believe, and I will confirm. As a matter of fact, let me confirm it right now. Let me go. After we watch the clip, I'm going to show you the indictment, which will show you the charges that this El Mayo is facing. But I believe it's on this article. Should tell us what time. Oops, I think it's this other article then. Well, hell. I might have skipped over it. I'm pretty sure I saw 11 a.m. And that's going to be, although it's in Texas, it's still what they consider Mountain Standard Time. But I will double check while the clip's playing. I will look. That way I don't keep you guys up while I'm looking. But let's start that clip. But I will verify that for you. Thank you for reminding me. Hey, thank you so much. We just got a donation. Let me just jump over here really quick so I can say thank you. And oh, before I forget, Darlene, this gavel slam goes out to you. You guys know what to do in chat. If you haven't already, spam them gavels. All right, and I think I saw a Cash App come through. Let me just jump over here. Sure did. Hey, thank you so much, Lenny Paz. Thank you. I appreciate that. With the $10 Cash App that says, thanks for everything you do. Hey, you're welcome. And thank you so much for your continued support. This gavel slam goes out to you, my friend. You guys know what to do in chat. Spam them gavels if you got them. I was actually playing around trying to add some new emojis for the jury members before this show started. And I'll have a couple more probably before tomorrow, but I don't know if you guys saw this one. I don't think you're going to see. I need to adjust the size a little bit bigger. So I apologize. But since we're starting this coverage on the cartel, I added the, let me see if you guys, before I tell you, see if anybody in chat can guess. If you can, oh, never mind. I think it tells you. Do you know what I just spammed? You know who that is? I think it's still too small to see. I'm sorry about the shitty kind of quality. It's because there's not a lamp in this room I'm in, so I got to have the window open. All right, it's supposed to be the Scarface character, Tony Montana, man. There you go, tie-dye. Oh, wait, you just spammed it. That's why on my side it tells you the name, because you got to name every emoji. All right, Scarface, you got it. Okay, but thank you guys again so much for your support. Really appreciate that. That'll definitely help with some gas money tomorrow. But like I said, I'm going to try to get there. I will get there early. Do like a little downtown IRL stream. I'm sure downtown's going to be buzzing. Not only because it's right next to the border and you have all the border traffic coming in and out, but just because of tomorrow. Like I said, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of just media traffic down there. Who knows? Maybe we'll be the only ones there, and ABC will have to contact me for tomorrow's coverage. Just saying. Just kidding. Yeah, right. I can't see. Oh, it's because it comes on my side. Fucking Big Monsters, welcome to the chat. Thoughts on Justin being the IC? What happened? Well, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I won't get too much into it, but horrible. I mean, I was watching more of the clip today where he's talking to the doctor, and I don't know if you guys, because yesterday we just kind of jumped into his live stream, which I don't think at that time he was talking to the doctor. But if you haven't seen the clip, he's going to require a skin graft surgery on Monday is what he's scheduled for. So originally he was scheduled for court August 1st. I'm pretty sure that's off the docket. And then that's horrible. I'm still kind of investigating in exactly what happened. I know there's a lot of rumors and stories going out. I know he's mentioned something, I think. And again, I'm not sure if he had said it or this is the chat that had said it, but something about rubbing alcohol, being tossed on his face. Again, once I get some more information, I'll give you an update. But like I said, whether you disagree with the guy, hate him, love him, whatever, that's really shitty what happened to that guy. And I hope nobody else got hurt, because that's a 3rd-degree burn to your face that's going to require skin graft. That's not only is that guy going to be in horrible pain, who knows if that's going to fix the appearance of his face like it used to be. So like I said, I hope nobody else got hurt. And he's probably lucky to be alive regardless of what happened, which, again, I don't know exactly at this point. Oh, all the way down. Jesus. Yeah. So I think it's going to be, again, my opinion, I think it's a little bit, I don't think let's just put it this way. I don't think it was rubbing alcohol. But again, I'm not going to speak on it until I know the exact story. But yeah, I wasn't aware that it had gone down that far. I thought it was just his face. Yeah, that's horrible. That's I mean, like I said, that guy is going to be in massive pain. Obviously, I've not had any 3rd-degree burns, but I know people, I've read, and I don't think 3rd-degree, I think it was a 2nd-degree burn I've known somebody that got, and that was bad. Okay. So 3rd-degree is no joke. Ouch. Yeah, we tuned out of his live stream yesterday, and I just seen a couple of the clips that came out this morning, so I wasn't aware of that. All right, so let's jump over to that clip. They did a fairly good job. Again, this came out 4 days ago, so some of the news has changed. Not a lot. Now, as far as what's going on with the court news, that's not changed. As far as the story, how he got over to the United States, that's changed. So I don't know if they're going to, which side of the story or which story they're going to tell you guys on the clip we're going to watch. But we'll watch this clip and then we'll talk about it. The only thing that bothers me, nothing against my friends from across the pond, it's just hard as a person from New Mexico to listen to somebody, and it's from BBC, with an English accent, pronounce a lot of like the New Mexican accents and Mexican names. It's funny. But what up, Shell? But yeah, let's share that. Let's take a look at that. They do, like I said, pretty good job of kind of summarizing everything I spoke of. As well, it helps a lot when you can see pictures. At least for me, I'm more of a visual person, so hopefully that helps a lot with you other visual people. But again, welcome to everybody in chat. I appreciate you taking time out of your Wednesday evening to hang out with moi. All right. And tonight, actually, or today, is the last day of July. Tomorrow, I think we jump into the Leo sign. So happy birthday to all the Leos in September. And August. And we start the beginning of August, which tomorrow would have been the one of our first court cases that we were covering in August was going to be tomorrow for Justin, but obviously that's changed. I think the next hearing or court coverage will be Amber HHH, which I think we said is August 7th. So once we get closer to that, we'll get into that again. What up, Space Nick? But yeah, let's share this clip here. Is the court hearing going to be live streamed? I don't know. If they let me go inside and I can live stream it, then I shall. I obviously wasn't able to put in a request for a media pass. I will see about that tomorrow, being that if they're going to continue, obviously, this hearing or case. I know they have to have, I think, let me see. They do have a deadline set that the prosecutor, if they're going to offer a plea deal, they have to offer it by September 11th. Otherwise, if there's no plea deal offered before September 11th, then the judge is pretty much going to go, now that this El Mayo has pled not guilty to all the charges he's indicted for, if they can't come up with some type of plea deal before September 11th, then the judge more than likely is going to set it to go for a jury trial. So being that it's probably going to go for a few months at the bare minimum, I will look into, if I'm not able to, provide live coverage or at least, record inside the courtroom like we've done in the past, who I need to speak to actually submit my request for a media pass while I'm there. I can do it online, but I rather, since I'm there, just do it there. So I will look into that, but I will try my best to just see if they'll just allow me. Now, at the bare minimum, like I said, obviously we're allowed to record in public areas, which will be the outside. I have to check to see what the statutes are on federal court buildings. That might be a little bit different, but I don't see why they wouldn't let us record in any public places inside, assuming they're going to allow us inside. All right. So let's jump over to that clip. And again, thank you guys for your patience there. I was just trying to answer some questions in chat. I'm trying to do a little bit better as far as addressing the chat. So hopefully I'm improving. Still have a lot of room for improvement, but I'm trying. All right. Let's go over here. Oh, actually, let me take this off. There we go. Sorry, in order to take one comment off, I have to show another comment to take it off. So if you're wondering why you show my comment, take it off, that's why I do that. All right, here we go. And that's so you guys can see the screen better. This is going to be share screen, and we're going to go to the, let's see here. Wait, which one is it? Ah, yes, it's this one here. From the BBC. That was it. I'm not even going to try my English accent, sorry. Hello, governor. All right, that was it. All right, Chrome time. Here it is.
You're live with BBC News. One of the world's most powerful drug cartel leaders appeared in a Texas federal court on Friday. Ismael El Mayo Zambada, leader of Mexico's Sinoloa cartel, pleaded not guilty on all charges after being arrested by US federal agents in Texas on Thursday. The 76-year-old founded the criminal organization with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, who is currently jailed in the US. Also arrested Thursday alongside Mr. Zambada was the son of the notorious El Chapo Guzman, Joaquin Guzman Lopez. American prosecutors say the Sinaloa cartel is the biggest supplier of drugs to the United States. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland spoke earlier about the cartel leaders' arrests, saying they were responsible for America's fentanyl epidemic.
Fentanyl is the deadliest drug threat our country has ever faced. The Justice Department will not rest until every single cartel leader, member, and associate responsible for poisoning our communities is held accountable.
US media reports that Mr. Zambada, who you see here in this photo taken Thursday and obtained by our US partner CBS News, was tricked by a high-ranking cartel member into boarding a plane that he thought was going to southern Mexico. The plane instead flew to El Paso, Texas, where he and Mr. Lopez were arrested when they landed. It followed a months-long investigation that Mexico says it was unaware of until the arrests were made. Mexico's president is calling for full transparency from the US about the capture. Earlier, I spoke to Mike Vigil, former chief of international operations for the Drug Enforcement Administration. How consequential are these arrests?
Well, they're very consequential in terms of the rule of law, but I don't think that they will have any significant impact on the inner workings of the Sinaloa cartel. And as an example, I will give to you exactly what happened when the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, Chapo Guzman, was extradited to the United States. Had no impact. Mayo Zambada had been running the cartel for a number of years, and they have a very strong bench, very good leaders. The cartel has been in existence since 1989 and is currently the most powerful drug cartel in the world. They operate in 6 of the 7 continents in the world. And Mayo Zambada was very much the Mexican version of Carlo Gambino of Italian organized crime, in that he had never spent 1 hour in a jail cell until yesterday. But other than that, hopefully the United States and Mexico will put aside differences and work together to basically decapitate the cartel because they need to impact on the infrastructure. I'm talking about corrupt politicians. I'm talking about the money laundering cells, the enforcement cells, the logistical cells, and others to be to really have an impact.
If I can jump in there, I mean, Mr. Zambada is said to have been one of the leaders of the Sinoloa cartel who had very strong political connections. Will that help achieve, as you said, go after some of the political connections that have helped the cartel survive so long?
That is true. If Mayo Zambada and Chapo Guzman's son, the Chapito, cooperate with U.S. authorities, they can provide a lot of information on very high-ranking government officials in Mexico, to include governors, mayors, members of the security forces. But apart from that, there'll have to be a collection of evidence. It just can't be their testimony alone.
In your experience, how unusual is it for Mexican officials in this case to have been kept out of the loop of this operation?
It's rare, but it does happen on occasion. I think that the decision is made that, if they advise the Mexican government, because of endemic corruption in that country, it could easily get compromised.
One thing that caught my attention, our news partner CBS says that Joaquin Guzman Lopez, who's the son of El Chapo, that he was somehow in on the operation, or that he may have voluntarily handed himself in. Can you tell us a bit more about sort of what might be going on there?
Well, there's several versions, but the one that you're talking about is the fact that Mayo Zambada was lured not to Texas. You mentioned that it was El Paso, Texas, and it's not your fault because the Attorney General of the United States mentioned Texas. It was actually St. Teresa, New Mexico. It was in the southern part of New Mexico where the aircraft landed yesterday. So it's it's a situation where there's a possibility that he was lured. It could have been the pilot. It could have been the Joaquin Guzman Lopez that actually did it. But Mayo Zambada, one of his greatest fears was always being apprehended and then sent to the United States.
And now that has come to pass. You mentioned that it is in some ways a game of whack-a-mole, that while these two leaders have been apprehended today and will sort of have their day in court, do you think that the other cartel leaders will be kind of jostling now to sort of fill their place? And will we see a reduction in the fentanyl that gets imported from Mexico?
I don't think you're going to see a reduction in the fentanyl because the cartel remains intact. And it's not only them, but you also have a very, very powerful and very violent drug organization by the name of Jalisco New Generation Cartel. You have the Familia Michoacana. You have the Gulf Cartel. There's many others producing fentanyl and also methamphetamine, synthetic drugs. And the cartels are starting to move into synthetic drugs. It's much cheaper to manufacture them. They make much more money. Whereas if they have plant-based products, they can be eradicated. Then they have to wait till the next growing cycle.
Oh.
You're live with...
Sorry about that. All right, there we go. Well, it's just a little news snippet from the BBC. Again, that was, I believe, the day after he was arrested. So again, correction in case you didn't see it in chat. And again, I don't think obviously the BBC is going to know because, they're not familiar with Southern United States, Southern, our area. But he was not arrested in Texas. The plane landed in a private airport in Santa Teresa, New Mexico, which is literally like 30 minutes from here, maybe 10 minutes from the border of Texas and 20 minutes from El Paso. So call it El Paso. You can call it New Mexico, Texas. But technically, it was Santa Teresa, New Mexico. It's a private little airport. It's my understanding that even there's a story. So here's the kind of the other mystery about this, okay? and I'm sure we're going to find out more as this goes. But there was, so pretty much you got to figure, how the hell do you get a plane from Mexico to the U.S.? Okay, you have to have permission, especially going internationally. Okay, in the registry, they showed one individual flying from an airport in Hermosillo, which is in Sonora, Mexico, which is near the Arizona border. And it had one person flying out. 3 people landed. Supposedly, they got the name of the pilot. He's an American pilot, but it shows no affiliation to the FBI, to any other government sources. But you got to know that just wasn't no regular, schmo, okay? They're not going to have some regular, just civilian pilot, flying a high-level, target, sitting along a son of a high-level target and another high-level target. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. Like I said, it sounds like the country of Mexico is not too happy for the fact that I think it's a corruption thing. They're afraid they're going to start talking and giving out names. But, they're not going to say that. What they're kind of saying is, it's kind of upsetting because they're, try to keep a communication. And obviously this involved, somebody from their country being arrested. So they're upset at the fact that the U.S. didn't communicate with them that this was going to go down. But as you heard in this interview, sometimes that happens, and it's for reasons like this, okay? They don't want to get that guy tipped off, all right? Because people are corrupt in Mexico. Just to remind you, this indictment, the one that this guy's facing tomorrow, this stems from charges that were filed in April of 2012, okay? So mind you, it's what, 2024 now? So 12 years it took to finally get him in custody, all right? That's how long the guy's been running ever since these charges were filed. Now, don't forget, he's also has indictments or charges filed against him, I know, in New York, the state of New York, and I think a couple of other states as well, okay? But right now, he's going through the indictment, or he's been going through the process of facing, they've said most of the channels are saying 7. One channel said 11 charges, but let me go ahead and just show you those right now. We'll go over them. Again, this can change, but originally he was indicted on, I think it's on this page here. Yeah, this is the one that says 12 charges. Let's go to the one that has the 9. What charges is he facing? Here we go. So we have continuing. Oh, let me share this with you. That way you can read along with me. Where's the El Paso Times one? Is it? Oops, hold on. Sorry, guys. Just lost my page. Where'd it go? Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. Just trying to confuse myself. Here we go. All right, let me make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. Perfect. All right, so let's read these together. So we've got continuing criminal enterprise, murder, 2 counts of continuing criminal enterprise. Let me highlight what I'm reading is right here. Conspiracy, 1 count of conspiracy to possess narcotics, 1 count of attempt conspiracy, narcotics importation/exportation, 1 count of laundering of monetary instruments, and 1 count of conspiracy to possess firearms/drug traffickers and aid and abet. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the 2 counts, so 7. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've seen more of the sites that I've looked at saying he was indicted on 7 charges. I just saw one site that said he was indicted on 11, and it didn't even show the charges, just said 11. Here they've actually put him out. So that's 6 plus the one that carries the 2 counts, that's 7. So those are the charges that he will be facing. And as of last Friday, he has put in a plea of not guilty. And again, the prosecutor's office has till, I think we said, September 11th to either present a plea deal if they're going to go that route, or otherwise the judge most likely is going to get this set for a jury trial, being that Mayo has a pled not guilty. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I mean, they already put out his name, okay? So the pilot's name's already out, so who knows? But either way, like I said, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more, stories, information, and details that are going to come out of this whole case. Like I said, the story's already changed on how he was, essentially, first story was he was tricked into pretty much thinking he was going to be flying to look at properties in northern Mexico. Then all of a sudden, surprise, they landed, in the United States. I doubt that. And then, of course, the story that the attorney presented in court to the judge on Friday was that he, was forced. The story went kind of like, I guess, he was going down to what he thought was just going to be a meeting with this son of El Chapo, Joaquin Guzman. And it wasn't, obviously, I guess, and because I guess he trusted this guy, he didn't have his usual heavy security detail. He had a light security detail. And I guess this Chapo's son, Joaquin Guzman, his security detail was able to overtake the other security detail. I don't know if people got killed or not, or injured, but either way, they managed to pretty much, zip tie him, put a hood over his head. They drove him to the airport, and then they flew him to New Mexico. And then he was arrested by the U.S. Marshals. They're thinking also, because of the way that the plane was registered when it flew internationally with just 1 passenger and then it arrived with 3, the government in Mexico is looking to see if there was a possibility that they even... Oh, and here's the thing. The plane, the type of plane that they left in, is not the same type of plane that landed in Santa Teresa. So that's why this is all the speculations coming that possibly they're thinking not the U.S., this is the Mexican government that's looking into this. They're thinking that they may have switched planes somewhere. So who knows how this went down. But like I said, based on what I read, it almost, and again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, especially getting in these high-level federal cases, but based on what I read, there's not really any law, there's not any cases to, and there's a certain legal term for it that I forgot, but there's not anything really that they can examine or go back to based on the way these circumstances happen, to see whether that was, a right way to bring them into this, country. That's the diplomatic side. Based on what I read, as long as he's in U.S. soil, they don't give a shit, Now, obviously, they have to give him his due process. They have to give him a fair, hearing. But how he gets to the U.S., monkey see, monkey hear, you know what I mean? One of those. That's going to be more of a diplomatic thing. So we'll see what his attorney does. Oh, it'll definitely make a movie between his dad, the dad, El Chapo. I mean, have you guys seen? You guys know? Let me just watch. Let me play a little clip for you really quick before we're about to wrap up tonight's broadcast. But let me play a little clip for you. If you guys don't know the whole story about how El Chapo escaped the first time, this was like a scene out of a movie, man. Let me see if I can find one that's a short clip. Let's do this one from CNN and see how this.
Look at your TV screen right now. This is on the search for fugitive drug lord
Here
El
we go.
Chapo, okay? Pay close attention to this video. Mexican authorities have just released this closed-circuit video from inside the prison showing Joaquin El Chapo Guzman in the final moments before he broke out. So he paced back and forth. You saw that. And then in his cell, and then he goes around where the toilet is, and you see the dramatic moment. There it is right there. Well, Chapo disappears into the tunnel.
Now you see
he's
him.
gone.
Now you
At least
don't.
49 people have been questioned in connection with the escape in Mexico's Interior Ministry. Minister says he has fired the prison director, and other prison officials. The dramatic moments just before or just when El Chapo disappears into a tunnel. There it is, right there on your screen for the first time.
Now watch this. I want to see if, let me show you one that shows the tunnel.
This is the closest that we've been allowed to get to El Chapo's tunnel, the tunnel he used in his brazen escape on Saturday night. It is, by all accounts, a magnificent feat of engineering. So let's come on in and see exactly what
up, go girl?
El Chapo here had in store.
So this is the
Small
side
little
that he
exit, just a
escaped out
couple
of.
feet wide and a couple feet long. You see with a ladder, maybe about 10-foot, 15-foot ladder that leads down into that tunnel. The room here is nothing to brag about. It's empty, full of cinder blocks. And you can see these containers full of dirt here, these wheelbarrows full of dirt. Here we go. Vamos a ir por abajo. Okay. And loose. Here's another ladder leading down into another part, deeper section of the tunnel. It's a ways down. You can see here, this is the modified motorcycle that investigators showed us images of before. This is on a track. It seems to roll back and forth. See that? There's buckets left behind, and look at this. Left behind oxygen tanks as well, in order for them to survive down here. It is a very tight space. I can't even stand up. I'm about 5'10". I can't even stand up all the way. It is just a remarkable feat of engineering. The tunnel stretches for more than a mile, carved out earth here. This modified train tracks for that mini motorcycle. You see here, electricity
Mini
lines.
motorcycle on train
It's very
tracks,
difficult
man.
to breathe down here. A lot of dirt, dust. This here for the ventilation system.
Ventilation system.
Tight space down here.
Electricity.
But for a man known as El Chapo, I'm sure he had more than enough room to work with. This motorcycle was on a track here.
He's a
This is
little
the bike
midget
that
like me.
El Chapo used to ride out of the prison. It still has gas in it. You could still smell the gas, this overwhelming odor of gas in this tight space. It really is suffocating.
All right, so this was, let me jump over to the video. Oops, excuse me. This was back in, this is 9 years ago, tie-dye. So this was, this clip came out July 15th of 2015. And like I said earlier before, and I corrected myself because I know the first time we started this little kind of coverage, I had said that he was in jail or prison in New York, and referring to El Chapo. That's where he was being held during his court hearings. But now that he was sentenced to a Supermax facility, which he's currently being held in a Supermax in Colorado. But I doubt they're going to let him dig a tunnel and get out of there anytime soon. But amazing, man. And obviously, you know, the officials in the prisons were aware that, you know, there's no way that you're going to get away digging. I mean, I don't care how fucking quiet and sneaky you are. All right. That's no way in hell that they wouldn't, at least a few people aren't going to know what's going down. But yeah, very interesting story. The reason I just played that was just because, you know, like y'all were mentioning, this is probably definitely going to be made into a movie the way that this, incident happened with this El Mayo being kidnapped and allegedly and brought over to the United States. And like I said, who knows now what's going to happen from there? Was this done as a way for this El Chapo's son to get a sweeter deal now that he's pretty much turned himself in? And again, you got to realize that these guys, even El Mayo at one point was in communications with the FBI, the feds, okay? A lot of people don't realize that these guys talk almost sometimes, on a direct network with these top cartel guys, okay? For whatever reasons, we'll probably never know. But, there was obviously a small, group of people on the U.S. side that had to obviously know about this. I even think the way this, whoever that pilot was obviously had it been brought into this. But like I said, we'll probably learn more details as this case goes further, because a lot of that stuff has to come out. Okay. It's part of the due process, you just can't, keep some of that shit whenever you're, especially in a federal case like this. So a lot of that info is going to come out. They might even have to bring the pilot in and interview him as a witness. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But either way, the reason I, did this kind of introduction in this case is because tomorrow, this is going to segue into our live court coverage tomorrow that will be starting in downtown El Paso, and then we'll work our way. Looks like, and I don't know if you guys saw, but I posted it. Looks like it is scheduled for a 1 p.m. Again, that is Mountain Standard Time hearing time, or excuse me, 1 p.m. Never mind. And so I'll get there beforehand. That way I can get some parking. We'll, show you around downtown El Paso. Show you, if we have time, the little border area. And we'll be able to look into Juarez, Mexico. You can see right into the, Juarez is humongous, okay? Between Juarez and El Paso, it's, more than 1 million people in the population-wise. And then, most importantly, we'll make our way to in front of the courthouse, the federal courthouse. Probably join the probably Lord knows how many other members of the media that'll be out there. And then we'll see what we can do as far as if they're going to invite people in the media inside, or at the very minimum, at least I can ask and see what I need to do to, put my request in for a media pass if they're going to allow the media in. So I will be live. Now, Kelly, for the hearing, I don't know. That I can't say. Probably not. I doubt they're going to let me in. But we'll see. But at the bare minimum, I will, bring you coverage where I can outside the courthouse. If I can go inside and there's a public areas there, you know how I do it. But yeah, it should be really good. I mean, you know how these court coverages go. We really don't know what to expect until the day of. Okay, and even then, shit can change. But yeah, he does have to be there in person tomorrow, so that we know for sure. Obviously, today, if you didn't catch it, his lawyer had entered a waiver of appearance, so he didn't have to show up today. But tomorrow he does. Oh, definitely, V-neck. Oh, shit, man, the security is going to be... I mean, you got to realize, okay, that how close just the courthouse alone... You could probably pop off a fucking sniper shot from the Mexican side, okay? I'm just being a little bit dramatic, okay? Obviously, there's buildings and shit, but, that's how close it is, okay? So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of security just for the fact that it's just already that close to the damn Mexican border. And it's Juarez, okay? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the city of Juarez, but there was a time, this was when it was like, the worst time into the drug cartel wars. What was like about this was, man, and it was shitty because this was, for me, we used to love to go down to Juarez. It's a place we used to love to go have fun, go, when before you're 21 in Mexico, you can drink at 18, so we're down there, partying it up. Fun for tourists, take down your friends and family to see Mexico and, eat some food and just experience some of the culture, and stuff like that. But then it was around, I think, 2003-ish, 2004-ish, when it really kicked off, the cartel wars. And I mean, they were just kidnapping everybody and anybody. But at one point, they had ranked the city of Juarez more dangerous, okay, than the country of Iraq, okay? And that was during the peak, peak time of war, okay, during the Iraqi freedom campaign, okay? So picture that. So yeah, it's definitely a dangerous city. Still is. It's gotten a lot better, but it's very dangerous. All right, let me just check one other thing here really quick. All right. Yeah, 2003. Yep. That's about when it kicked off. I just wanted to verify, one of those things I got to double check. But yeah, so it should be definitely an interesting live stream tomorrow. I hope most of y'all will be able to make it. I know it's kind of in the middle of the day, but either way, the VOD will be up. So shout out to anybody in the replay crew catching this replay, but certainly tomorrow, if you can't make it live, I will have the VOD up to catch the replay. I will put out a notification when I'm heading out. It's about probably a 45-minute to 1 hour drive from here to El Paso, depending on the traffic. And then, like I said, we'll start off in downtown, show you around, show you the border area, and then we'll work our way back to the courtroom or courthouse, and see what kicks off. All right, folks, I want to say big thank you to everybody, like I said, that came out to tonight's live stream. I know it's just kind of a last-minute thing, and I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for all the support and donations today. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the members of the jury for being here today. Thank you for all the viewers. And don't forget, stay vigilant, all right? Keep your head on a swivel. Check that 6 every once in a while. Take some time to love somebody. I love you guys. And we'll see you mañana, my friends. NJ Courts. And if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, complaints, you can reach me at the email for the channel, or you can look up NJ Courts TV on Instagram and, contact me through there. But either way, here's the email. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Oh, and I don't know, Cesar, I think you had seen my comment because I think you had acknowledged it. But for those that are wondering, plants are doing fantastic. As a matter of fact, I have a total of 9. 4 of the 9, actually, hold on, I take that back. So 4 of the 9 are like in full blossom, okay? Full flower. I mean, the biggest one's just the top. Oh my God, it's going to be a huge bud, okay? The rest, the other 5, they're already starting to flower. They're in the process. So we have no other males. We took out the males that we had. We had 2 males. We actually, those 2 little plants, remember my little experiment plants? Those little SOBs were males, man. I'm glad I caught that too. Whew. Man, those were right next to my females, so I yanked those out. So pretty much I had to yank 2 full-grown plants out and then 2 little plants. So let's call it 4 male plants. But I have 9 female plants remaining, all healthy, all good sized. And I'm waiting for the giraffe, man, the mega plant. That thing, I'll have to take a measuring tape, but not shitting you. I think we have hit the 8.5 foot, now working on 9 feet mark, which I don't think it's going to grow any taller now that it's got into the flowering stage. But I am looking forward to seeing the massive bud off of that thing, dude. It's probably going to be, if like the ones already on the smaller ones are like this, that thing's going to have to be like this. No, I'm not even kidding you. It's probably going to be like a 2-foot fucking bud. Have a good night, Sicilian. All right, you guys, take care. Get some sleep. Well, actually, we're not going to be up early tomorrow. Never mind. Party it up, Wayne. Just kidding. But NJ Courts is officially out of here. Peace, everybody. Have a safe night. Take care, and we'll see you mañana.